Dana White joined Meta for what reason specifically? So we're going to talk about that here. We're going to get a discussion going where you guys have involvement. You guys are going to comment down below what you guys think about what I'm saying, but we're going to go from there. So, guys and gals, Dana White, as of today, has accepted the position on the Meta board of directors. Mark Zuckerberg himself went on Instagram and dropped a picture of them together and said, hey, Dana White's joined our board of directors. So why is that news exactly? Well, it's been kind of slow in the UFC world. However, this is huge news because we've already seen Dana White do several things where he has exclusivity with other social media companies, right? So I'll give you guys an example. With Rumble, he has exclusivity with Power Slap, right? And things like that. So now him joining the board of directors for Meta, what can we see out of the PBR, another company that's his, that skateboard league that's his, or is he going to bring exclusive content from the UFC to Meta, right? Which I think is probably the most likely scenario. And here's why. It's probably the most likely scenario because of Mark Zuckerberg's love for MMA. So we've seen him corner Izzy, I think it was, who he last corner. We've seen him, at several UFC events. He exclusively one time bought out all his seats at a UFC fight night, and it was just him and the Dana White and the announcers in the entire event that night. I mean, granted, it was a fight night, right? So it was at the small UFC venue, but still, he bought the 400 seats it was, or whatever the case was, just so he could have that moment for him and his girl, right? So we know Mark Zuckerberg is in love with the UFC, he's in love with MMA, he's in love with everything that has to do with, and now he's got Dana White in his board of directors for Meta. So what exactly could that mean, right? Other than, Mark Zuckerberg loves it and there could be exclusive content. So some of the routes I think you could take is that Mark Zuckerberg's also in love with the whole Meta universe as far as it being like virtually online and stuff like that. So I picture a world where you're able to go into the metaverse and have exclusive UFC stuff that you can do there or watch or be a part of. I mean, how crazy would it be if they have like a virtual reality metaverse UFC octagon, and you can go and watch like the equivalent of whatever the UFC guys are doing in the octagon in the metaverse? Wouldn't that be crazy? So I think that's just one of the options of what they can do there. But it comes at a crazy time, right? Like it wasn't that long ago. We remember that Meta, or when it was still Facebook, was an enemy of anybody that had a mindset like Dana White's, or anybody that was conservative or anything like that, where they were limiting posts or they weren't letting you post or whatever the case is. And we've come now full circle where everyone's joining, a certain side of the political spectrum. And in this instance, seeing people like Jeff Bezos donate to a certain political fund, and now seeing Mark Zuckerberg bringing on Dana White himself to the board of directors is kind of a crazy spectacle, if you ask me. Now, from Dana's perspective, why wouldn't you do something like that, right? Meta is second or third biggest social media platform. They're pushing big on their Instagram reels. They're pushing big on the Facebook reels. They have the fan base in the age that he wants and the whole nine. So if you're Dana White, this is a move that you almost kind of have to take if given the opportunity. And having said that, like, what excellent, or not excellent, but what type of exclusive content are we going to get from Meta concerning the UFC? I think that's the biggest thing that we have to look forward to, is like, what exactly is Meta going to bring us concerning the UFC? That's going to be the most fun. I'm here along for a ride. I can't wait to see what they put together. But that being said, guys, this is an open discussion, right? I gave you guys my 2 cents, but y'all tell me, what does it mean down below for Mark Zuckerberg to bring on Dana White to Meta's board of directors? I think it's amazing. You guys let me know down below. And I'll tell you guys what, whoever has the comment with the most likes down below, we'll talk about it in another video, and we'll give your perspective. We'll kind of go from there. So until then, guys, see y'all.